name is Debbie Foster, and I'm a certified professional bird trainer through the International Association of Avian Trainers and Educators. I am also a certified parrot behavior consultant through the International Association of Animal Behavior Consultants. Amber from Parrot University and Companion Parrots Rehomed has asked me to work with her on a video series so that when people get a bird, they have some resources for after they get the bird home. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my business, what it is that I do, and then also what you will be doing once you get your new bird home. About 10 years ago, 100% of my business was people who had undesirable behaviors with their birds. And so I went into the home and we identified what the function of the behavior was and what the people were doing to contribute to it, and we basically fixed the behavior. And interestingly enough, about 2 years ago, what I started to see was that people were hiring me to bring a bird into the home and get it on the very best footing possible from the minute the bird walked into the home. So these people didn't tend to have the undesirable behaviors developed because they understood the links, the science behind behavior and learning as soon as they brought their bird home. So that's what we're going to talk about today. You got a new bird, congratulations, wonderful. And now what? What do you do when you bring that bird home? Remember that birds are prey animals, and we can never overlook that fact. We are predators to them, and so we have to be very aware of that fact. You move a bird from here where it came in and had to assess the environment. Is this a safe place? Does it have enough food? Does it have water? Are people treating the bird what we might label respectfully? And then you move it to your house. The bird's never been there before, so that's a brand new environment for that bird. And the bird repeats the process again. Is this a safe place? Am I going to have enough food in the home? Are these people safe around me? So one of the things that we want to do when we bring a bird into our home is we want to open the cage door and let that bird loose the first day. Problem is, this bird, again, doesn't know the environment and doesn't know you very well at that point. You haven't earned a lot of trust from that bird's perspective. And so if you let the bird out of the cage, that begs the question, how are you going to get the bird back in the cage? And the last thing you want to do with a bird that's brand new to your home is chase it around with a towel, trying to grab the bird and throw it back in the cage, because now not only do you not have any trust in your bank account, you're bankrupt. You are so far in the red, it's going to take you a long time to work your way out of it. So here are some suggestions for what you do when you bring a bird in the home. First thing you can do is what I call a meet and treat. Bosley is my very willing model for that today. So all I want you to do is give your bird treats. See if they'll take them from your fingers, and if not, you can drop them in a food bowl. But when I offer a bird a treat, I pinch it between my thumb and my forefinger, and I have the bird lean way out to get the treat, because that's incompatible with lunging and biting my fingers. If you put your fingers right in front of the bird's beak and maybe you move fast, or maybe a dog runs into the living room while you're working with the bird, that bird may very well bite you. So now you're both off on very uncertain footing. So just experiment with different types of foods and offer them to your bird. I would suggest trying things like sunflower seeds in and out of a shell, walnuts, pieces of almond, nuts in or out of the shell depending on the size of your bird. Just experiment and see what the bird's very favorite treat is. And from there on out, you can save that treat and make it work for you. You can save it for when you are training your bird, which you're going to start to do almost from the minute the bird comes home. So you're feeding this bird while it's in the cage. Give the bird a couple of days to be able to observe what's going on around it. And during that time, be very careful about how you move around the bird. Don't come flying in using a loud voice, using erratic hand movements. Be very cautious about how you move around the bird, because you want to give the bird the feeling that it is safe in your environment. Once you are fairly sure that the bird is readily taking treats from your hand without hesitation, you're seeing relaxed body language, which generally means the tail is not flared, the head is not poofy or slicked down really hard, the eyes are not pinning, depending on what type of parrot you brought home, then you can very carefully open that cage door. And what I like to do is I like to use a place stand or a tree in front of the door, because that makes a bridge for the bird to come right out of the cage and onto the place stand. My hand doesn't have to be part of the equation, because when you think about it, A step up is an advanced behavior for a bird. We're asking a prey species to step onto a predator's hand that they don't know very well. It's really not a very good plan for survival in the wild. So I want them to be able to come out of the cage on their own and step onto something without my hand going in the cage the first time. And once they are comfortable here, I'm going to start hiding little pieces of treat and letting them move all around the play stand. Giving them some exercise, and again, convincing them that I'm a lot of fun. I am the source of good things. And don't overfeed them while they're out, because the last step in this process is getting them back in the cage. So if you have found out with your experimentation that your bird really likes a nut in a shell, for example, then take a nut in a shell and drop it in the food bowl that's farthest away from the front door, farthest away from the front door. Oh, are you waving at us? Okay, give them a wave. There you go. And make sure that it makes a nice big clink sound, because you want your bird to be very aware of that, and then back away. And what the bird is most likely to do is to go in the cage. And once they go in the cage, you can very calmly move the tree out of the way and close the door. If you have time, what I would tell you to do is then open the door again, let the bird come back out. You don't want the bird to be able to predict that every time you show up, it gets slammed in the cage. So you want to let it have the power, the control to go in and out of the cage. And of course, being out of the cage gets all kinds of good things for the bird, but being inside the cage also produces good things. So that's video 1 of our series. I think we're going to have about 7 of them. I have a Facebook page called Parrot Ps and Qs, so you can find that on Facebook, and you can follow up with questions if you have anything about our presentation that we're going to do. Thanks for listening. Bosley, you want to say bye-bye? There you go.